I think the supporters don't mind enough if he's banging in goals.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, what I've realised is that
there's bare players that do, but like the supporters back them because he's scoring.
Yeah, but that's a long time.
You know what? See with Suarez,
that's a long time ago.
When Suarez did his little racism thing, maybe say little, I saw Liverpool players who were black.
Yeah, wear a shirt.
They found a loophole to support him.
There's no loophole. There's no loophole. You're banging in 30.
But you have sense. But you have sense though. A lot of men don't have sense.
But that's why you're banging in 30 a season, brother. You can't leave my club. You're my say, brother.
Okay, so let's play for Arsenal.
You're scoring.
Let's say he was playing for Arsenal.
Playing for Arsenal.
Let's say it was Suarez playing for Arsenal.
Have you got a stick here? Have you got a stick, please?
Let's say he was playing for Arsenal.
Let's say I play for Arsenal.
So let's say Suarez.
Oh my God.
That's my point. There's enough man that will do that.
Chiz, is that you? Is that you, Chisel? Brother, listen, racism, brother.
So technically is that, depending on who you are, it depends on whether or not you're getting cancelled.
It's the value.
That's what I'm saying. That's life in general is about value.
Everything's transactional.
If Suarez was a player that a bit part, Liverpool would have dashed him away. Yeah. Suarez was arguably one of the greatest strikers the Premier League has ever seen. Yeah. He's one of the only people to score 30 goals in the season. And just because of calling Evra...
Just because?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. But that's what they're going to see it as, is just because. Even the FA the other day, there was a race, I think it was a Crawley town manager or coach or something.
Okay, yeah, I heard
that. Said something racist, yeah? I think he got a
30 days suspension or something.
No, 13-month suspension, yeah? But they tried to rule, and they tried to find out if he was racist. How can you
find it out when it's there?
If it was homophobic, something homophobic, you're not going to find out.
Or transphobic, it's straight what it is.
You've said something, it is what it is. But when it comes to racism, it's like, let's see if he didn't mean it like that. But for other communities or for other communities, once you say something against that community, it's not maybe you didn't, it's what you said is what you said. Either apologise or be cancelled. When it comes to racism, it's not like that. So I'm saying when it comes to football, I hear what people are saying, but it's your value. Same way with what Suarez said. I mean, wasn't deemed big enough because what he was doing for Liverpool and the club was bigger than...
But you're saying generally as a football supporter, if Suarez was an Arsenal player, generally speaking, you would try and look at the consequence of Suarez leaving Arsenal.
Let me be serious now. I'll be super pissed that Suarez done it. I'll be fuming. But in my head, I'm like, I can't lie. I'm.
We've got 4 games left in the season, and we're 2 points clear.
I'm seeing that. Number one, I'm seeing is that I see this as a black person, and I'm like, this is just what's man saying. But then when I remove myself from being black and I'm an Arsenal supporter, boy, 3 points I forget.
I think that's the problem though, is when you talk about value. And I think a lot of times the things that we will accept or not accept depends on the value of that person. I think even when it comes to how we use our phones or reply to people, depends on the value of that individual.
But it goes back to what you were saying about the iPhone and the Cobalt and whatever.
The phone is very valuable to us.
The phone is very valuable to us. Apple produce great products. We don't care enough. If it was like a startup company that we found out and no one knew, everyone would cancel that company. If we found out, if Apple was just made today and we found out, we'll cancel Apple within a couple of weeks. But Apple is too valuable to us in terms of workflow, phones, AirPods, all this stuff.
Would you agree, Wes?
It's too late now. It's too far gone.
So it's too far gone that it doesn't really matter now that we've got to that point where the value of the iPhone or value of having a smartphone is so important to us. The value of Dana White is so important that, he can't be cancelled because he's the president of UFC. Even if he said take a 60-day hiatus from the company, it's only going to damage the company, it doesn't damage him. So therefore, all of the fighters don't, like, obviously behind closed doors might be like, damn, he slapped Dana, but you fight for the UFC, you need to get paid.
No, but I feel like when you get cancelled, I think it depends on who you get cancelled by. So for example, if a majority of your fans are women, for example, and then you do the R. Kelly thing, then the majority of your fans are going to cut you off. So you're cancelled actually. Whereas if the people that are offended by you weren't your fans in the first place, then you can't be cancelled. So Dana White, for example,
if they don't feed you or make you your money,
then you can't get cancelled.
Yeah, so technically it's only those who are in the UFC that have a problem with him that can cancel him. If they don't have a problem with him, he can't be cancelled.
And the fans and whatever, but the people who watch UFC and the fighters don't care. They don't care enough about that for it to affect the UFC.
I would argue if Dana White wasn't as good as he is at running the company, that the board would have got rid of him, because he's not he sold like a lot of his shares in the company, but he's just like the chairman of something like that. But they would have got rid of him if he wasn't doing as good of a job as he is.
So once again, it boils down to the value then.
Yeah,
Exactly, because who's going to replace Dana White? Because thing is, like, a lot of people don't have time, especially in business, you don't have time necessary to test things, especially in UFC. Like, you can't just hire a new chairman like that. Like, you've struggled to find stuff like for your bar and stuff, so imagine trying to replace Dana White.
Yeah, but even like Vince McMahon in the WWE or WWF, he's had bare scandals. Bare. Yeah. Like, when I was reading up on it the other day, I was like, raw, but because he's Vince McMahon and the WWE or WWF, what you want to call it, WWE now, is so lucrative.
Yeah.
Boy,
He came back the other day. They sold WWE to the Arabs.
Yeah, you have to just let it go. To say jump it over, because that's my only issue with life in general, is that it depends on who you are and what you do. So, for example, even if you look at this country now, for example, the white population or whatever, they care more about Harry and Meghan than they do Prince Andrew, and that shows you the value. That, like, the value of Prince Andrew against the value of a coloured woman that's married into the royal family. Because technically speaking, when you look at both of what they've done, one is supposed to have sex with an underage girl and the other one has just spoken out about the royal family being racist. What's worse? But if you looked at the media, Harry and Meghan, and no one's talking about
but I think the key though is that we know who controls the media. So therefore, they can literally just not publish anything to do with it because they know of the backlash. But whereas there'll be no backlash against Meghan and...
No, but that's my point though, in terms of the media, it's value. It's your, whatever value you have. And even the royal family, they bring it, the media bring out stories about the royal family, but they have like a little agreement that they give them certain pictures, certain interviews, and then they stay off their back. And this country is very patriotic. But my thing is, again, it's down to value. That this is a part of the royal family. We'll talk about it a bit, but let's just brush it under the carpet. Now there's a new member of the royal family that's causing ruckus, saying they're racist. How can we be racist? This is terrible. We're going to talk about this more. So I'm just saying, there's so many examples that you can see in life of things that happen to people. If it was someone else, it'll be one thing. But because it's this person, nothing happens.
And when we're talking about value, what value do you put on life? So what is life to you? What do you say the meaning of life is?
But I'm not going to lie to you. You don't know. I don't think you know about the value of life until something bad happens to you.
What is life? What's the meaning of life? What do you say the meaning of life is? What does life mean to you?
Well, to me, life is
For the living.
But the funny thing
Very
is,
cliche, but explain what you mean.
the problem is that with that
what do you
saying
mean by
is,
that?
Chiz, yeah, if you believe that saying, you would have no days in the week where you just lie in and do nothing.
What do you think your purpose is, Mal?
Well, right now, it's to find an Apple charger because my battery's low. Safe one.